turret once more!
Hello everyone and welcome back to another build video, and today we are showing a dark magic gun build, and we are Graveborn and Spellshot for this one. We are using 𝕃𝕚𝕚𝕓𝕓𝕖 to be able to cast 2 spells instead of an action skill, and this build has crazy damage in mobbing and in bossing. So for the Graveborn skill tree we want to max out Essence Drain to get some spell cooldown rate. We want to max out Dark Pact to increase our dark magic damage. We want to max out Stain of Souls to be able to deal some bonus dark magic damage from our spells. And we also want to max out Ascension, and this is a kill skill, and we get increased maximum health and spell damage for a long duration. For the Spellshot skill tree we want to max out Spell Sniper to get some spell critical hit chance. And this is the most important skill for the build, Magic Bullets. This makes 45% of our spell damage also apply to our gun damage, but with the class mod we are using we get +2, so we are able to convert 75% of the spell damage also to gun damage. And then I went with Mage Armor to restore 10% of our shield every time we reload. We also want to max out Just Warming Up, and this is to increase the fire rate for every spell weaving stack. We also want to put a point into Glass Cannon, and this gives us 30% increased spell damage, but we can't automatically recharge our shield. But since we have points into Mage Armor, we are gonna get shield back every time we reload anyway, and those 30% increase into spell damage will apply to the gun damage, since we have so many points into Magic Bullets. And then a point into High Thread Count to increase the max spell weaving stacks. We also want to max out Imbued Weapon, and this is whenever we cast a spell, our guns deal bonus damage of the spell's element for a duration, and this effect stacks once for each spell equipped, and since we are running 𝕃𝕚𝕚𝕓𝕖, we are running 2 spells, so this is a nice bonus damage. We also want to max out Double Knot, and this is whenever we score a critical hit with a spell, we deal bonus gun damage of the gun's element. And we put 1 point into 1 slot 1 kill, and this is to get some increased gun damage for each spell weaving stack that we have. And for the last skill point, we went with the capstone of Spellshot skill tree, and this is Severe the Thread, so every gun critical hit have a chance to instantly reset all the spell cooldowns we have. So for the weapons we are using a Ruby Spite, and this is a really fun weapon to use because of the 2 mechanics it has that I will show you. This also deals 3% increased damage for each crossbolt stuck on the target, and the crossbolts they last for 5 seconds. This weapon also has really short reload time, which is going to be useful to get all the spell weaving stacks up that we need.
I'm just getting started!
And the enchantment we use here is on spell cast increased damage dealt by 15% for 10 seconds. So the Ruby Spite shoots 3 bullets in a horizontal pattern like this. But once you get a kill with it, it changes. So we're gonna have increased fire rate, and the bullets will also track.
Casting spells and loading shells!
And you can increase the damage a lot with the Ruby Spite by changing to the alternative fire mode. And now we can shoot for around 30k, 40k occasionally on a crit. But if we change the fire mode, we're seeing 82k crits. Occasionally over 100k. For the melee weapon I went with a Mage Staff, and this is a dark magic one since we're focusing on dark magic in this build. And this melee weapon creates up to 3 fishes that seeks out nearby enemies, dealing up to 110 weapon damage as spell damage, and the damage is split between the fissures. And we also have Archmage here, so melee attacks restore 5% of our spell cooldown. And the enchantment we use is on spell cast, increase elemental damage by 20% for 5 seconds. For the armor we are using this one, and this is mainly because we have +2 into magic bullets, we have increased the spell damage, all damage dealt, and fire rate. And the effect of this armor is whenever a poison status effect deals damage over time, there is a 15% chance for the enemy to explode for 776 poison damage, but this is not going to benefit us at all because we have no poison status effects. So as I said, we are only using this because we have +2 into magic bullets and we have really good rolls on it as well. And for the shield we are using an ancient deity, and this is to get the 10% increase to dark magic damage and also have some elemental damage resistance, which I always find useful when you run chaos chambers. And the enchantment we use here is on spell cast, increase dark magic damage by 30% for 5 seconds. And for the rings we are using a mood ring, and while ward is not full, effects are increased with 33%, and we have gun damage, we have dark magic efficiency, and we have spell critical hit damage. For the second ring we are using a Shark's Bane, and on critical hit this ring's effectiveness is increased with 33% for a short duration, and we also deal increased damage to land sharks with 66%. And we have spell damage, we have pistol critical hit damage, and we also have pistol magazine size. For the necklace we are using an Undying Thirst of Heroism, and we have dark magic damage, we have Graveborn power, and we have a double roll of all damage dealt. And the effect of this necklace is not benefiting us at all either, since we are not using an action skill, but we're using this because it has such a good rolls. So for the spells we are using a Searching Concentrated Magic Barrage. This is a repeated cast, so we can hold it and launch a fast, high damage projectile, and we also have 2 spell charges on this one. And the enchantment we use here is after casting a spell, our gun have a 30% increased critical hit chance for a duration. And for the second spell we are using a Buffmeister, and we have Pew to increase the fire rate and the reload speed, and we also have Sap to increase the spell damage. And the enchantment we have here is on spell cast, increase gun damage by 30% for 10 seconds. For the hero points I went with Strength to increase the critical hit damage. I also went with Dexterity to increase the critical hit chance. And the rest of the points is personal preference, but I put them into Wisdom to get some more status damage. And now let's take a look at some boss melting.